is trying its best to move beyond failure into getting good results without identifying those key things and the forces that are even made the team to drop. And that is where I want you to help us make sense of it. Your own personal assessment. 3SC went down last season. Could you identify those things that contributed? They are going down. Which will navigate us to, from your own assessment, whether those things you are going to mention as we speak this evening, hope they have been addressed, hope they have still not been addressed, then we'll continue that conversation.
Well, to be fair enough, let's be fair enough. Standard of everything in Nigeria has dropped. Be it architecture, be it medicine, be it everything in Nigeria has dropped. Now, if I could get my statistics right, Shooting Stars Football Club got relegated for the very first time in 1985. This was a team that just won the league in 1983, winning the league in 1983, and went as far as the finals of the CAF Champions League. That's Balloon Tap of 1984, December 12. And only for the club to play Continental in 1985 and got relegated 85-86 for the first time in the history of WNDC IICC Shooting Stars United, and they spent like 3 seasons. What are the reasons why this club went down at that particular time? They said Chief Lekon Salami was didn't do this, didn't do that. He had problems with referees and all this stuff. And there were a lot of that's number one. Then number two, a lot of exodus of players from 3SC. You remember Oladayo Popola, quality players. They left Shooting Stars and they went to Abiola Babes, the Wanyan National Day, and all this stuff. Abiola Babes become a very strong thing from that, and that actually began. It was the beginning of the woe of 3SC. 1986, 87, 88. By 88, they came out again, and then they came out of relegation in 1988. So when they got out of the 90s, we've seen 3SC showing sparkles of what it used to be. 1992, they won the maiden edition of the Abiola Babes, whatever, CAF Cup. They won it. And then this team were together. I'm trying to let you know the consistency. What is lost? That's why I took it from there. If not, I should have taken it from the 60s.
Fantastic.
So I don't have my pen and paper. I didn't even, but I could just recollect one or two things that when Ogunjobi came, there was a lot of consistency in the team. Ogunjobi had like 4 years to really build the team till he got to the finals of CAF, whatever, 1990. I mean, that was 1996 when we were beaten again by the same Zamalek, I think. We were beaten 1996. So at that particular time, there is consistency in the team. Immediately Ogunjobi left and politicking came in again. Then you still have quality in the players, talking about the editor Goye, the new coach, Latif Yusuf, because 95-96, Shooting Stars were double champion. They won the FA Cup, and then they won the league, double champion. So look at that club, 97, 98. By 98, they won the Wafu Cup under the chairmanship of Elder Bodil Iwole. So after 98, they won the league. After winning the league, only to come down year 2000. What has gone wrong? What has gone wrong? I could see that management structure, soldier goes, soldier come. When you are coming, maybe this military man loves sport, the other military man doesn't love sport. But we know that in the eras of the military people, they love all of them. From Adisa, Nkenwosu, Oladayo Popola, is like the military men has always been doing justice to Shooting Stars. So, but when it came to this, Oyakiro, is as if the funds were not there and the encouragement were not there. So year 2000, I think the chairman at that time was the son of Chief Lekon Salami, talking about Yomi Salami. So Yomi Salami was able to try his best, getting corporate sponsorship. At that time, people started shouting, Yomi Salami has sold our club, oh, he's selling the club, he has done this, he has done that. But Yomi Salami was just trying to make sure that the club has corporate entity. But people say he wants to do this, he wants to do that, and that one seems to have been frustrated until this Chief Onibide came. Chief Onibide barely stayed like a season or two, brought them out of, I think for 4 seasons, he brought them down, brought the team out during this Lam Adesina. And we're just rejoicing that we are there, only for another larger people to come. And then the manager, and what happened is, immediately another governor comes in. You don't look at the template that is on ground. Then you just rubbish everything. You bring in another person, and from the governor down to the structure down, everything will change, and we begin again. At the end of the day, this my brother, what's his name? Nats relegated the team. So after relegating the team, it is not because the players were not there, but bickering, lose focus and all the stuff. And I remember I was a radio presenter with FRCN at that particular time. I was the second person that brought in Nat at that particular time. And when Nat sat down, I was asking him, what are your vision for Shooting Stars? He said, we want to do this. So I knew that there are misplaced priorities of even these managers, I mean the chairman, there are misplaced priorities. So I kept quiet, and at the end of the day, I knew the club may be relegated. In fact, I wrote it in the newspaper then that 3SC will be relegated. I know what happened. Eventually we got relegated, not barely a month or whatever. So we were there until Mutiu Adepoju came by Akala, and Mutiu Adepoju brought back the thing. What has changed? Nothing has changed. It's just that the management structure will stay like 2 years or 3 years before you can come out of relegation. Something has to be stable, fund must be stable, technical crew must be stable, so many things must be, and the supporters must really support you. So looking at all these things, you find out that we are very constant in inconsistency. Going back memory lane, the days of David Dembewo, I remember Alan Hawks told me, he came in 1974 and he prepared the team for like 2 years, and they won 1976. They were there. He was with the team for like 6 years. How many is Ibadan people, is Yoruba people, are we patient enough to give any management the chance to at least go for like 4 years to come out with a pattern? On the part of fans, I think fans too, they have a lot to do. Immediately anything is happening. In 1988 or 89, Niyi Akande was the coach, and part of the problem was Niyi Akande was winning just with one goal. They had to change the coach just because they said he doesn't score more than 1 goal. That was the excuse. Then they brought him.
He was getting results.
He was getting it up, but they said it is 1 goal. Then they brought in Jose Lad. So it has always been like people that surround us. Fine, this even in English Premiership where so much money is being pumped in, you can't, because Mourinho is losing to smaller clubs sometimes, and then you fire him the second time. If he's been able to convince the management, and if the management can convince the commissioner, and if the commissioner can convince the governor, look, this is our template. We may not win anything this year, but I can assure you, and everybody can see that you are working. I think they really need a blueprint, and then bring it out. But most of the time, sometimes I don't see any blueprint from anybody. Fine, some people are coming out with what looks like it, at least this time around. I think they are talking about it, privatization, this and that. But this has been some of the problem, because I didn't itemize it, but people can pick all these things. But another indictment I want to give now, I owe no apology, but we have to tell the fact and hurt ourselves. The FA in Oyo State should rethink how football should be run at the grassroots level. Look, the Olubadan Stadium is there, moribund. Nothing is going on. Liberty Stadium.
Don't they have matches? Don't they have?
Go and look at Olubadan Stadium. If you can even kick If horses cannot even ride there, there has been a lot of problem there. So the Ifa League is dead. Now in those days, Shooting Stars always have quality opposition from the grassroots. At the FA club, they are playing railway, they are playing housing, they are playing Leventis, they are playing NEPA. Where are these clubs? Water Corporation. Where are these clubs? At the FA, there are sometimes, I'm very sorry to say, there are sometimes when you watch the FA, other smaller clubs will say, hey, they are aiding 3SC to do what? To play the FA Cup at the national level. Please encourage this smaller club and let the Challenge Cup, I mean the Ayo club this year, let it be open. Let Shooting Stars let them have quality opposition. When we are talking about, look, Mudalawa was discovered from our housing corporation. The same thing with Shagbodebami. It was when they were playing against Shooting Stars. These teams were formidable. It is open. The FA Cup is open. I don't want a situation whereby if even it should be the joy of the FA chairman that Shooting Stars did not qualify for this FA. Leave them alone. Let them play. Let them play soccer. Anybody, and that is why sometimes when Shooting Stars come out to play FA Cup, they drop along the wayside. But in those days, before Shooting Stars would qualify for the FA Cup, the what do they call it right now, the Challenge Cup, they would have sweat. So I know the chairman of FA this time around is doing a lot of work, because these things I'm saying happened not really during his tenure. I must say it didn't happen during his tenure. But if it has been happening, I want him to make sure that he tells the management of Shooting Stars, we are not doing you any favor. In fact, if we are supporting you to win this year's FA Cup, we are doing you injustice. Let the better club, let the smaller club, let them get encouragement, let them face Shooting Stars. If they beat Shooting Stars, then Shooting Stars will know their fate. So lack of this competition has killed, football in Oyo State.
That's also, this